Michelle Murphy. Big round of applause for Michelle Murphy. Come on, one more time for Michelle Murphy. Let her hear
it. This story begins as the most obnoxious stories begin at Burning Man. I'm so sorry, I really am. You should never tell another person about Burning Man. You just sound like a douchebag, but here I go, I'm doing it, okay? And if you don't know what Burning Man is, God bless you, but it's basically a week-long event full of music and dancing and art in the Black Rock City desert of Nevada. And look, there are a lot of criticisms you can levy against Burning Man, and I'd agree with most of them, but there are also a ton of reasons that every year 70,000 people haul ass to the desert to camp and collect dust in every hole of their body. The reason I go and keep going back is because Burning Man is one of the funniest and freest places I've ever been. You can start your day having a tea party riding a giant motorized slug and end your day dancing to a live orchestra while your friends climb a 50-foot statue of the female clitoris. And men will still say, I didn't see that art structure that year, I couldn't find it, you know? It's basically just a really expressive, wacky place. And I was excited to go back because I had taken a break for a few years. And that reason I took a break is because my ex, who I started the Burning Man camp with, and my friend had gotten together suspiciously soon after our breakup, and the three of us were not on good terms. We couldn't be in the same room together without somebody crying. And now, I would tell you that they're the villains in my story, but they would tell you that I'm the villain in their story. Unfortunately for them, they do not have the microphone tonight or a penchant for storytelling, so we're going with me as the reliable narrator. Thank you. Yes, and the Moth only allows true stories, so I am right. So I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go back, but I'm anxious because I know I'm gonna be camping with them, and you might be like, bitch, what? Did you say you're gonna go into the hostile desert environment with hostiles for a week? Like, why would you choose that? Are you asking for Murphy's Law to activate and just punch you in your big, dumb Irish Murphy face? And that's a fair question, but the thing about Burning Man is you invest so much time and money and labor and resources and love into it. Like, you prepare for not only months, sometimes years in advance to build these art structures and create this universe with your friends and family. And like, some people get divorced and they're like, I want the house. I was like, I want Burning Man, like I want it back, you know? So I decided I was gonna brave my ex's treacherous love and just go chase that desert and sling jokes with my friends again. And it was a terrible idea. Big mistake, huge, like absolutely awful. It was a series of psychological booby traps. I spent the majority of the week just glued to my friends like a stage 5 clinger for fear of running into my ex or my ex-friend in the kitchen or the porta potties or anywhere. Like, it's enough to see your ex and their girlfriend half naked. It's a whole different thing when they're just glaring death stares at you as you're high off your ass on magic mushrooms. Like, it's hard to come back from that, you know? So I was really not having a good time out there. I wasn't feeling the freedom I usually feel. I wasn't exploring what I wanted to explore. And I wasn't entertaining my friends and making them laugh the way that I love to. I was just so small and afraid, and I didn't want to draw any attention to myself. And then finally, on the 7th day, the Lord's Day, no coincidence there, I wake up and I had had enough. You know, like, I see a sign in our Burning Man camp, a dry erase marker that says, tomorrow we're gonna celebrate the wedding celebration of my ex and friend. And I was like, okay, I've died, I've had it, I've had enough. I can no longer play it safe and be small and timid because it's already happening. They're getting married out in front of me. And so I decide we're changing the game and we're gonna be loud, and I pick the stupidest outfit I can find. Not the hottest one, not like, my ex is gonna want me back, just a real dumb like mashup of a winged animal with a tusk. And somebody was like, oh, are you going for like sexy unicorn tonight? And I was like, no, I'm going for a person who wants to peg a man with my head. I don't give a fuck, okay? Like, I'm done, I've had it. And so I decide to set out solo for the first time in a week, and the minute my feet hit the desert floor alone, it was like Burning Man knew, it's showtime, bitch. I hear this beautiful ballad playing in the distance, and as the dust clears, I see this giant Technicolor organ with tentacles growing out of it, And I round the bend and I see just the hottest man at the bench playing it. He's got like 8 abs. I don't even know how to get 1 ab. And just like a bushel of gorgeous hair, and he's so hot. And like he's like wearing the Burning Man sexy uniform, like all black leather pleather. And again, I look like a raver Teletubby centaur mix. I don't know. But I haven't had sex in years too. My confidence was out the window, but I was like, screw it. I'm gonna shoot my shot. And so I go up to him and we're hitting it off. And he tells me that in addition to being a piano player, he's also an Enneagram coach. Now, okay, I don't know if you know what the Enneagram is, but it is a personality test, and I don't care if you don't like them. I love personality tests. Like, you don't even understand how much I love them. If somebody were to be like, what is your sexual fantasy of foreplay? Literally, I'd be like, someone talking to me about my Enneagram type. So like, so the Burning Man gods have like sent this hot man to me, and they've been like, he's the one profession you didn't even know could exist. Is that a real job? So I was like, okay, what if we spend tonight talking about my Enneagram type? Because I can't figure out if I'm this type or this type. And he was like, yeah, sure. I guess, the first question I would ask you, and he looks into my weathered eyes and he says, is what's your relationship to melancholy? Okay, if you're depressed like I am, if you're a depressed person, you know that I basically climaxed on the spot, and you would have too, okay? Like, come on. And if you're not a depressed person, you don't get it, and this isn't for you, so like, whatever. So I look him in the eyes, and I was like very intimate, and he and I just throw our heads back, and we're just like laughing at how sad life can be and how funny that is, And we set off on a series of adventures, and we're making out along the way, which is fun, but what's even more fun is that we're just riffing with every stranger we meet, like as we talk about my melancholy. We run into these grizzled, retired firefighters, and we're throwing back pickleback shots, and then this hot guy's like, what's your relationship to your mom? And then we run into these gay, fabulous men with French-made costumes who give us syrup and waffles, and he's like, what's it like working in suicide prevention? And we're just bopping between, the light and the dark, which is like a winning combo, obviously. And finally, we find this tower, and we go up, and we start hooking up, and I'm like, how did I get here? Like, this guy is just, like, so kind, totally, and so hot, and just, like, and he just has the most, like, stunning and perfect point of beauty, and in his heart, of course, and, like, and we're walking back to my camp at the end of the night, and he's like, I feel like your Enneagram type is a 6, and it can be really hard for 6s because more than any other type, they just spend so much time in their head and in their thinking brain, and they can be so anxious and so terrified of every minute. And I was like, yeah, that registers with the week I've had and the life I live. And he was like, what's also really wonderful about the 6 is that they can take that thinking brain and they can galvanize a group of people and activate them and connect people and hold court so that everybody gets to tell a joke and everyone is seen and heard and bantering the way that you did tonight. And I looked back on the night that we had and all our adventures, and I realized like it was mostly me who orchestrated just all these strangers that we went up to and talked to, and I'm almost there. And he was just like really happy to be there, And I don't want the point of, which I'm getting to the point right now, I don't want the point of this to be like, if you have low self-esteem and you're single, just like bag a hottie at Burning Man and your life is fine. That did help, but it was more, is more just the moment I set foot on my own and met him, I was just being like so crudely and loudly and authentically me. And I think he really was just this kind mirror who was reflecting back to me all of my own points of beauty. Thank you.